All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you, brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly divine the word and the truth of sincerity. Shalom to you, believers out there, the Aki and Wa'agwa. And what I want to go into in this lesson is how, you know, Jake, when we refer to Jake, we talking about, the Israelites, because we all know, well, if you don't know, Jacob name was changed to Israel. Jake is an appallment, man. An appallment. And we're going to look that word up a tad bit later, and the reason why I titled it Jake is an appallment. But I want to start off with Jeremiah 2, verse 21. And it says, "Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" All right. Now, when we go into the word degenerate, and we can just do a simple Google search, and it says degenerate has multiple meanings, including to decline or worsen, or to describe someone or something that has declined. And where I partially got this motivation, and well, partially, just in life, being around the Israelites, because, well, we under the curses. But a brother from GMS, Mississippi, Yash, he had did a lesson going into how if you look at our people, let's say from the 1920s to now, you will see a big decline, even though we might be more have more knowledge of technology, more tech savvy, all right, and have different things. I would say more opportunities. We are less superior than our ancestors, man, because like he was going into, take, men in the 1920s, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them, they was hardworking men. They had a trade, you know, and they were able to pass that trade on to their sons, their nephews, all right? And like he was saying, they say if a man had, 5 sons and he was a carpenter, well, he multiplied himself 5 times and taught his sons. All right, on the flip side, you had women. They were more, you had to really have a skill set. Because like my great-grandmother, she really cured my chicken pox, man, because back in the day, they didn't have, Esau technology to rely on. They didn't have a lot of things to rely on like mothers of the day do, okay? So my great-grandmother, real quick, she cured my chicken pox because, they had calamine lotion. But my great-grandmother told my mother to mix baking soda and Vaseline and put it on there. And although, I was kind of burning for a night, it really dried those chicken pox out, man. And that's her having a skill set. Now, it's the same grandmother she knew how to grow food and plant and do all of these things, right? Well, if you fast forward a lot of the women today, they look down upon the just being a housewife. They look down upon the woman who would be considered a Susie homemaker. Why? Because the women of today, they're more interested in chasing a bag. And I get it, it's certain women in position. I mean, it's certain women that have been put in that position basically because they got to do what they got to do, all right? And all this stem back to the curses. But when you look at our people, matter of fact, last night when I was putting the lesson together, wait, hold on. I got to kind of speed it up because I got to go to work. Yeah, blacks in the 1920s. Now, when you look at our people, look, you see the women, now ain't nothing new other than the sun. You always had so-called thoughts and gangsters. But if you look at our people, they had a class about them. You know what I'm saying? Even the average, even a lot of these men and women probably going out, but just look at how they look. You don't see pants hanging off their ass. You don't see tattoos, okay? You don't see all the women got long skirts. Okay? But if you fast forward today, what will you see? We already know what you're going to see. All right? Let me just type in blacks at a party. All right? You know? Now, the styles will change, but it's a degeneracy. All right? Look how, because our people always partied and had fun and stuff like that. But then he went into, I spelled it wrong. But then he went into like how the hip hop culture played that role when you get into the 60s, because that's when women's lib came into play, man. And then, because you got to think, in the 60s, you had more of our people that was married. All right. All the way to the 70s, to the 80s, to the 90s. And when you look at our people, okay, in the 60s, you didn't have rap. Okay, so, in the 60s, the music was different, which in turn made the people feel, and that vibration of the people was altogether different. All right, but you did have women's lib come into play. Okay, so it played a major, major role on our people all the way to the 70s. Then, like he was saying, the women was dressing more scantily clad. Okay, then you had more recreational drugs come into play all the way into the 80s. Then you had the crack epidemic that just really destroyed households, man. It destroyed our people, man. The crack epidemic. And then you had where, the men, they took the drugs and started making that money, and they was looked at as the choice men all the way up until today. Who do our women love? They love the D-boys, the thugs. Then you go into the 90s with Tupac in that era that brought the thug culture in, because the 1980s brought in the gangster rap era. That's when it started really flipping. When crack came, stuff started really getting real degenerate at a fast pace, man. Because before that, men was doing heroin, people was smoking their weed and stuff like that. But when crack came in, oh my goodness, that just totally destroyed, our communities, man. And that was something placed in our communities from Esau Edom, man. Okay? It was meant to destroy our people. All right? They came even more degenerate. Hence where you got the gangster rap, because those guys, they was the street guys. They was the choice men. The women started dressing even more scantily clad. Women lives was already had made an impact in the 80s. And when you look at even the women rappers, they were more masculine than today, far as like the dress. Because I remember you had, even like in the 90s, you had like Queen Latifah, you had MC Light and all of them in that 80s, 90 era. You can even probably include like Salt and Pepper. If you look at their attire, it was altogether different. All right. But then look at today. What really changed up the game is you had Little Kim. All right. And then you had Foxy Brown. All the way to Trina. All the way to Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. All the way to Glorilla and Sexy Red. So it just get worse and worse. Just like the whole hip hop game. You had gangster rap. Then you had the thug. Then you had the trap. All right. Now it's just demonic and effeminate. The rappers, they dress a certain type of way. Let's do a little Uzi Vert. See, like a lot of this stuff in the 90s wouldn't even be accepted in the 80s. Look, it's effeminate. It just became degenerate. Okay. And that's and if this society was to continue, that's what would happen. Now, I want to go here to And the brother, he broke it down so beautifully. You know what I'm saying? When you go to Isaiah 1, all right, rebellion of God's people. Okay? That's the head of rebellion of Most High's people. What happened? Isaiah 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master crib, but Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider. And this is why we became degenerate. Because we lost our way. We fell out of the way, man. Okay? Verse 4, a sinful nation, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards, man. We backwards. When you go from the 20s to 30s to 40s. Because like he was saying, even in the 20s, that's where you get the Black Wall Streets. But it was even more Jake's doing things than that. All right, he went into how, the Edomite couldn't afford the Cadillac, but Jake could. Because we had our own thing going. When you research what our people was doing in the 1920s, man, it was miraculous. But Esau didn't want that. Ultimately, the Heavenly Father didn't want that. Because we weren't supposed to really prosper here in this kingdom. All right, we was here for a punishment. But ultimately, that's why Esau know to keep Jake down, because Jake is an Israelite. So they naturally going to be business savvy. All right, we naturally spiritual people. We naturally business savvy and naturally creative and all of these things. So they know they got to keep us down, man. All right. And see, we under the curses and we still do certain things. So imagine us in our full strength in the kingdom, man. The kingdom going to be so beautiful, man. Laid out by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. But it said we are going away backwards. And that's why each generation just keep getting worse and worse. I was talking to a coworker and he was telling me how, the kids, because, he celebrate Halloween. And he was just telling me, like, I ain't doing it. Because these kids, he said these teenagers come, they don't even have costumes on. And they just come knocking at the door. And I don't have my light on. They still knocking at the door. And then, they trying to pick and choose with candy and all. Just disrespectful, man. And that's how these kids of the day are. All right, especially raised in these matriarchal households, man. Okay, especially the sons, even the daughters. All right, because for the most part, when they raised in these matriarchal households, the daughter, she gonna be a thot, and the son gonna be a thug. For the most part, not all the time, but for the most part. That's why when you go where our people at, it's just how it is, man. And if you interview a lot of the people, the youngins that's in our community, most of them was raised by their mama, man. Okay, and she have them in all type of people around her kids. All right, raised in all type of environments, man. I mean, this been going on for decades, man. Cause you had rappers even like Tupac, Jay-Z, all of them. They was raised by their mama, man. All right. Now a lot of them made it out, but nonetheless, they still had tendencies, from being in a matriarchal household. All right, because when you got a strong father in the household, he, especially with his son, he put things in check. A strong man bring order. Okay, and that's why Esau Edom was hell bent on taking a man out of the household, because he already know the damage that can do. Okay. So continuing on, verse 5, it says, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick. The whole heart faint. All right. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. So right here, man, Jake, we got wounds. Our people have wounds that have not healed, man. Have not healed. Imagine you get beat, all right, and you got a wound and you keep getting beat at that same wound. It's never going to heal. Okay? We got wounds from slavery that have never been healed. And that's why our people, even though after slavery we might have had, you had a Black Wall Streets and you had all this, but we still had that wound, man. And that's where the degeneracy comes, man. Because when you go into putrefying, I looked it up. Putrefying, it says, well, putrefy, it says, of a body or other organic matter decay or rot and produce a fetid smell. All right. Putrefying, to decay, producing a strong, unpleasant smell. And that's what Jake is. Jake is number one, unpleasant smell to the Most High. All right. That's why we in the madness we is. Scripture go into that. All right, but something to decay. What happens when something decay? It get worse and worse and worse. And that's why when you look even at the music from the 60s, it had a certain vibration. In the 70s. The 70s music, it was about love. It was about partying, dance, and things of that nature, for the most part. But then when you get to all the way to now it's F that nigga, F that B, I'm trapping, or some demonic vibration. You got the drill culture. It decayed. Our music decayed. Okay? This is the way of dress have decayed. Because when we looked at them pictures at the 20s, the woman, again, styles change. You always had certain women that dress scantily clad. But the scantily clad of the 20s was not the scantily clad of 2024. Best believe that. All right? Because a woman might still wear a dress. She might have that V cut on her dress a little low. You see her breast poking up. You see them thighs and them hips. But now girls just wearing what they call coochie cutters. She will have an imprint on her vagina, man. She'll wear spandex pants that'll imprint the vagina and put like even more crease in the buttocks. I seen them new spandex, So women weren't walking around like that in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even the 60s and the 70s. In the 60s and 70s, the girls might wear the little short shorts, but it's not like now. All right, girls weren't tatted up, blowing blunts, tatted up, talking about they're a real nigga. Women weren't doing that. All right, dudes weren't tatted up with pants hanging off their ass, talking about I'm a trap god. They wasn't doing that, man, in my grandfather's day in the 50s and 60s. No, they dressed down in the suit, some Stacey Adams. All right, again, styles change, but, they had a certain class about themselves. And again, like I said, it's due to the curses. Now, look, when you go to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 29, what do it say? It says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Right. No healing ointment. Like it said in Isaiah. We ain't got no ointment until Yahweh shall come. That's the ointment. That's when we going to be truly healed. When Yahweh shall come and conquer these kingdoms, throw Esau out of power, man, and we be changed, man. That's when the healing process for the 1/3 is right now through this word. Let me go back and say that. But ultimately, our nation as a whole is going to be healed when Yahweh shall come, man. That's who, the only one that can save us, redeem us, as it talks about in this chapter. Okay? But groping in the noonday. All right? Jake always trying to find their way, but they don't prosper, man. All right? No matter what. Even like I was saying in the 20s with the Black Wall Street, you go into the history of things that was these towns that was destroyed in Georgia. I forgot the name. Carolinas. Well, guess what? They only was prosperous for a minute because Jake was printing their own money and doing this and had libraries and schools and all types of things. But then, you know what happened? Esau destroyed them, which is the sword of the Heavenly Father, because it wasn't meant. Okay? Because why? We under the curses. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 37. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment. And that's where I looked into the word astonishment. And it said waste. Yeah, a lot of these niggas is waste of skin. Wasted. Horror. Appallment. And that's where I got the word from. Now, when I looked up appallment, It says appallment is a verb. And what's a verb? A verb is an action word. Appallment is a verb that means to overwhelm someone with shock. Yeah, when you go in our communities, you're going to be shocked, especially if you've never been around our people. That's why I was just thinking about earlier how these nations, you know, when they come over here and move to America, you never see them in our neighborhoods. They stay far, far away. All right. It says dismay or consternation. For example, I was appalled at the lack of staff in the hospital. So appallment, man, to be shocked. When you look at our people under the curses, man, you will be shocked. Jake is a big appallment, man. Okay? Even when you go into the word dismay. It says consternation and distress, typically that caused by something unexpected. Yeah, unexpected being around Jake. You know, all of a sudden the birds can be chirping in the neighborhood, then all of a sudden you hear gunshots. Or at night you sleeping in your bed, you chilling, you in a good sleep, and you woke up by gunshots, police sirens, ambulance. All right, you at the party, gunshots, a fight break out. Expect the unexpected. You could be riding a train, nigga come in psycho babbling. You know, just all types of stuff. This is what happened when you're around our people, man, because we under the curses, man. The Lord really did a number on us, man. He said he did what he said he was going to do. Okay? And that's why don't nobody want to be around Jake, man. And the scripture goes into it because why? Negroes is an astonishment, man. You be appalled around these Negroes and their actions and what they do. Okay? It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. So that's why, again, no matter where we go, we niggas. All right? No matter where we go, we look down upon. And even when these nations come over here, we still look down upon. And they stay far away. All right? These other, matter of fact, let's go here to, let's go to Isaiah 60. Matter of fact, let me get it in the blue letter. When you go to Isaiah 60, in verse 15, it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee. Yeah, don't nobody want to live around Jake. Don't nobody want to live around niggas, man. All right? Nobody want to live around niggas, not including me. Okay? Because like the brother was going into, you know, when you go, you can see an apartment and it can kind of look nice. You know, it could be reasonably priced, but when you start seeing niggas, he said you see a nigga pull up in a, what kind of car he say? I forgot the car, but with the hat back, he like, no deal. You see Eve with them 3 or 4 badass kids, no deal, right? It said in go through thee, when you go into it, it says to pass through. All right, a lot of these nations don't even want to pass through the neighborhood. And when they do, they running through. If they got to pass through it, maybe on the way to their job or somewhere. But a lot of these nations don't even come where Jake at, man. They don't even come where Jake at all. They not gonna go. They not even gonna go where we would call the hood. They stay far, far away, man. Okay. And that's because what? We in astonishment. All right. But you got a lot of these nations. Let me finish this verse. It says, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. And this is what's coming to us. Healing. All right. Because right now we our people, man, under these curses, man, putrefying sore. Open wounds. Just keep getting beat. All right. But again, these other nations, they be having businesses in our neighborhood, and that's where it ends. They make the money, then they leave and go far, far away. Okay, why? Because we're in astonishment. Our people is in astonishment. Let's go to Lamentations 2:15. I'm about to wrap up in a minute. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Right. They can never believe we are the Lord's chosen people, man. Like them. And we know when it's talking about Jerusalem, it's talking about a people before a place. But that's these other nations, they will never look at us as the real Israelites. Why? Because look at the condition of our people, man. Okay? They are astonished when they look at us. They make jokes. We the laughing stock. All right, by all these nations, man. It don't even matter who it is. All these nations. Let's go to Isaiah 50. Wait. Isaiah 50. What's it, Isaiah? Let me see. What's it, Isaiah? Bear with me. What was that? Oh, it might have been Jeremiah. No. What was that? Yeah, Isaiah 51 and verse 20, it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. Yup. On the corners, laid out, sprawled out, psychobabbling, drinking themselves to a pulp, trapping on the corners, just wild as they want to be, gang banging, prostitution, all type of madness when you roll in our neighborhoods. Okay? That's what this is going into. As a wild bull in a net, they are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy power, man. Right. Man, it's our people, man. And that's due to what? The curses, man. All right. Deuteronomy 28 and 45 said what? Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. And we are destroyed people, man. It don't take much to see it. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. All right. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Right. So when you look at our people, you can tell who the Israelites are. When you look at that madness, that's a sign. We are the signs. All right. Our people is the flat out sign that we are the Israelites. When you roll in the community, you know, oh, them the Israelites. Look at that. All right. That's it. Point blank period, man. All right. Jacob is an appalment. And, you know, when you come into this thing, you know, because I seen ISUPK with the Real Nigga Academy. Being a nigga ain't cute, man. I'm over niggas. I'm telling you. I've been saying that for months, and I'm over niggas, man. I'm not talking about our people, Israelites, with their head on straight. Even if they not in the truth, you got, you know, Israelites that's, you know, pleasing to dwell with, man. You can have a conversation with them. They intelligent, you know. They got their head on straight, even if they ain't in the truth. I'm talking about niggas. I'm over niggas. A nigga that don't want to work. Keisha. When I say niggas, I'm talking about the female too. Keisha. That Keisha archetype. That Trevante archetype. I'm over that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, when you just take a step back, the more you in this ministry, the more you don't want to be around niggas. I heard Apostle Tar going into that, and that's so true. So, you know, I just wanted to bring this out. I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters out there feel the same way about niggas. I'm pretty sure you over it. And ultimately, man, the Lord just got to bring judgment on 2/3, man. They got to go. All right? They got to go with Esau. They got to go. It's got to happen, man. It's just, our people is in a bad condition, man. You know, and you can see it ever more clearly coming into the ministry. Okay? And not to say that we just got it all, but I'm just saying, like, it's bad. It's very, very, very bad, you know? So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the next lesson. Shalom.